So the topic for today is, as you see on your screen, the word fashion. We have different perspectives about fashion. We here, even in this class, we may have completely different points of view regarding fashion. Some of us are going to be like really trendy. We like to, I don't know, spend like a lot of money on clothing or accessories, and some others might prefer just to spend money on something else rather than clothing or accessories. So that's the beautiful thing. We all have a different opinion, and that's what's gonna help us open the conversation. So first, I'm gonna give you some context so you can um, help me first taking a look at some of the sentences, understanding the context of fashion, and of course, learning some new vocabulary words. I have a question for you, and the question is at the very beginning is why doesn't Ben like the jacket? And that is a question that we are going to be able to answer once we finish the reading. Okay. So when we finish the conversation, when we finish the reading and taking a look at the sample, we will be able to answer the question, hopefully. So what we're going to do is that we're going to maybe just skim really quickly through this conversation and try to find that information. So I'm going to read it, we're going to read it together just very quickly before we do like a little scenario where we role play, right? Some of you or someone of you is going to be Yoko and someone else is going to be Ben. So here it says, oh, don't you love this jacket? I mean, isn't it great? Ben is not really convinced, and he says, I don't know. Don't you like it? I think it's really nice. It's okay. It's kind of bright, and Yoko says, but don't you like the style? It'll look good on you, don't you think? Well, maybe. Well, don't you want to try it on at least? Not really. And anyway, isn't it a little expensive? Oh, isn't it on sale? No, it's full price. The sale rack is over there. Hey, look at those jackets. Aren't they great? So they're in a shopping store, probably, right? A clothing store. I don't know. Think of one that you know. I don't know where you buy your clothes. Do you buy it at Walmart? Do you buy it in Siman? Do you buy it in Carrion? Do you buy it in Zara? Do you buy it in um I don't know, Bershka and any of those? So are imagine that there are two people there just deciding what jacket to buy. And we have a question here. So there is a reason why Ben doesn't like the jacket, or I will say several reasons why he doesn't like the jacket, or there are different reasons he doesn't like the jacket. So I'm going to ask two people to help me reading, and we're going to try to, of course, give or provide the right intention to the questions, right? So whenever you see a question, make it sound like a question. If you see an exclamation, go ahead and try to do so, okay? So let me ask a couple of people. This time I'm going to try to do it myself. So I'm gonna ask Luisa and Caroline to help me with this, okay? So let's see. So Caroline, you're gonna be Yoko, so you're gonna be starting the conversation, and Luisa, you're gonna help me being Ben. Ben is not really convinced about the jacket, so you have to sound like you're not really convinced about what Caroline is saying. So whenever you're ready, Caroline, you may start.
Oh, don't you just love this jacket? I mean, isn't it great?
I don't know.
Don't you like it? I think it's really nice.
It's okay. It's kind of bright.
But don't you like the style? It look good on you. Don't you think?
Well, maybe.
Well, don't you wanna try it on at least?
Not really. And anyway, isn't it a little expensive?
Oh, isn't it on sale?
No, it's full price. The sale rack is over there. Hey, look at those jackets. Aren't they great?
Perfect. Thank you very much for helping me. So, a few things that I want to point out, for example, are the words here, sale and full price. Okay, so these are very common when you're shopping, especially on, I don't know if you have dropped anything through Amazon or eBay, right? Or Walmart.com. So if it's on sale, right, that means that it comes with a discount or it has a discount. That is the meaning of the word sale. So don't confuse that with the word sell. Oh, let me change the color. So one thing is to sell, right? And another thing is sale. So they are not the same. Be careful with that, okay? So sale means discount or special offer, right? If something is on sale, then it has a discount. So they were a little confused because Yoko was offering this jacket because she thought it was on sale. So Yoko says, isn't it on sale? Isn't it on sale? And Ben says, no, it's full price. So that means full price means, well, it doesn't have any discount. So you just pay the full price, right? So sales make shopping a little bit more interesting and make you feel like you're saving money, right? When you're buying. So in this case, it's a double confusion, right? First, Ben doesn't really like the jacket and on top of it, there's no extra incentive for him to buy it. It's just like a full price jacket. So if you don't, it's like if you were trying to buy something and you don't really like it, and on top of that, it's an expensive item. So it makes no sense, right? If you just buy that. So, let's go and talk about the reason why he doesn't like it, okay? So I think that by now you may have a good idea why he doesn't like it, but I would like to hear your opinion, okay? Let's see if anybody found more reasons why he doesn't like it, or at least the main reason why he doesn't like it. So the question that I want you to answer in Nearpod right now or on Nearpod is why doesn't Ben like the jacket? So we know that he doesn't like it. Now, just try to give me the explanation or the reasons behind the why not. So there's a 2 minute timer. When the time is when the time runs out, then I'll try to share some of your answers on the screen, and we will deliberate on what's the right what's the right answer. Okay, the time right now. So we will take a look at your creations, your reasons, okay? So I'm gonna post some of them and we'll see if we got them. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Reason number one. So this is the first one that appears on my list because it is expensive. It isn't on sale. Okay, so that's one idea. He doesn't like the style. It's too bright for him. There's no discount. Okay. Because the jacket is bright. Okay, very good. The jacket is bright. The jacket are bright. Is the jackets? Well, I don't know if there are different jackets. I think there is just one. But yes, the reason is that they are bright or it is bright in the case that it's just one. Okay. So it's a combination. I think it's a combination of two, but the main reason is because the jacket is too bright. That's what he said, right? So we have here, okay, he says it's kind of bright. So when you say that, you normally have a but. Hay un pero, right? So you have a but. So you say, yes, but this. So he's trying to be, I think that in a way he's trying to be nice, right? He's trying to not say, you know what, I don't like that. I don't like the style. I don't know. I don't like whatever you're showing. He says, it's okay. It's kind of bright. So probably he's looking for something more discreet, right? Nothing too bright, too colorful, or too um outgoing, maybe something more sober. So it's okay, it's kind of bright. So that was the initial problem. And the second problem is that on top of me not liking it 100%, it is not on sale. So it is not on sale. It isn't on sale. Now, I want, for the next exercise, we are going to need the text because I want you to go back to the text and maybe do a little analysis for me. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to screenshot the text and I'm going to send it to you via WhatsApp so you can have access to the text. Why am I doing that? Well, the reason why I'm doing that is because on the next exercise, I want you to uh, not just copy and paste some things, but go back to the text and find the parts in the text that represent the same ideas. So, for example, Yoko, who is Yoko is the person who is like showing the jackets, right? And she's very, I don't know, very vocal about um, presenting some options. And Ben is not very convinced or not really convinced on what to choose. So Yoko is saying these things but she's using a different language, a different wording, if I can call it that way. So you're going to find this idea in the text, and you're going to bring the ways that she is expressing this idea in the text. Remember, I'm not asking you to copy and paste because this idea is not going to be word by word in the text. The idea is going to be there, but it's going to be in different words. So you have to analyze. Okay, so I have this, and she actually used these words in the text. So I want to bring them to the exercise. So she says, I love this jacket. I mean, that's the idea that he provides, but she's using different words. Okay. So I need you to go back to the text, find the paragraph or find the sentence where she is expressing the same sentiment or the same idea, but with different words. Okay. So write what she says in the conversation. That's why you need the text because on the next slide, you're going to have just the box where you're going to type in, but the text is not going to be available. So that's why I sent it to WhatsApp. Go to your WhatsApp and try to find the text, uh, the literal words that she used to express this. Another thing that you need to find is I think you should try it on. So again, the words are not going to be there. Um, verbatim. I don't know if you're familiar with this word. The word verbatim means al pie de la letra. So they're not going to be verbatim, but the idea is going to be there. So I want you to I want you to go back to the text, find the sentence, and bring it to the exercise. I'm surprised you don't like it. So she is using another phrase to express some sort of surprise. She's not saying it like this, but she's using another expression about that. So let's go ahead and do that exercise. This exercise is 4 minutes long. Why? Because you will have to search a little bit and you will have to type in from scratch. So I'll give you the 4 minutes. If you finish earlier or sooner than 4 minutes, that's great. So take a minute to relax. If not, you will have 4 full minutes to try to finish it. Okay. So I sent the text to our WhatsApp group. That's why you have access to it. And you can go and find these expressions there and with the actual words that were used. So let's see if you can find them all. And you tell me what are the ones that you found. If you have any troubles, don't worry. We'll work together through it. We still have a minute and 23 seconds. Perfect. So let's see some of the ideas that you have been sending, and let's see if there is any way that we can complement them or fix them. Okay, so she said, I absolutely love this jacket. Hmm, and okay, let me find more. It's great. It's really nice. It looked good on you. Okay. Don't you like it? Okay, very good. I think it's really nice. Okay, perfect. Yes. Oh, sorry. I think it's really nice. Don't you want to try it all on that list? Okay, that's another one. Very good. Don't you just love this jacket? Don't you want to try it on a list? Don't you like it? Okay, perfect. Don't you just love this jacket? So if we go back to the original text, sorry, she says, I love this jacket, but in reality, she said, I think it's really nice. Or for example, don't you love, don't you just love this jacket? Isn't it great? So she's expressing here in these two questions a lot of information. So she's saying this jacket is great. I love it, right? And but she's using questions. I don't know if you're paying attention to this, but she's actually using questions to express this idea. I'm getting there. I'm getting to that part where we are going to study that part of how questions can communicate this much. So we have the first idea, right? So she's expressing how much she likes the jacket, and she's doing it through these expressions, questions. Don't you love this jacket? Isn't it great? The second phrase is, I think you should try it on, right? Now, um um how does that translate to what she really said? It's it'll look good on you, don't you think? So don't you want to try it on at least? So these are some expressions used by her just to I will say present the idea for him to give it a try, for him to try it on. So these are just a few ways. And the last one is I'm surprised you don't like it. So she used different words. She used things like, for example, um, don't you like it? I think it's really nice. And he says, it's okay. So don't you like it? Again, a question presented to the other person, but it's a different kind of question. So if you pay attention to the ways that the questions are being asked, these are different questions. These are not the normal questions that we normally ask in a real conversation. These questions are negative. So don't you just love this jacket? Isn't it great? Don't you like it? Don't you like this style? Don't you think? Don't you want to try it on at least? Isn't it a little expensive? Isn't it on sale? Aren't they great? So I'm just pointing out all of the questions that I see and the questions that I find are negative. Okay. So at least in our course, this is the very first time that we are seeing these many negative questions. So they exist in English. These are not incorrect questions. They exist. Now they have a very specific purpose. So we need to be very careful when we use them in real life. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the reasons behind it and give you some ideas, some exercises. And today I do want to take some time for reading out loud exercises because I think that we need to retake some of these practices, and this is going to ensure that we're really like practicing a little speaking more than just the one that we have during the class time. So let's go to the grammar section first. I want to explain a few points. It's not complicated, but in a sense, we do have to be very careful because if we do not know how to use negative questions, we're going to be providing incorrect information when we speak and when we use them. Okay, so how or when do we use negative questions? Now that we know they exist, there is a reason behind them. Okay, so when do I use it? How do I use it? Why do I use it? So those are the first questions. Let's go with explanation first. So when you want or expect someone to agree with you, you can use negative questions. Okay. So there are different ways in which you can present these negative questions. Okay. So I'm going to give you some ideas. The very first one is to express an opinion. When you want to express an opinion, you may use negative questions, right? For example, Yoko was using this technique to express his opinion, right? Isn't this jacket great? So she thinks it's great. She's expressing that opinion, but she's hoping Ben to agree with her in some way, right? Isn't this jacket great? Don't you think it's great? Doesn't that look good on him? We can also use negative questions to suggest an idea, right? So maybe you're not really expressing your opinion, but you're just you're just giving an idea. Aren't they a little expensive? Or don't you think it's too bright? It looked good on you, don't you think? So these are ways in which you can suggest an idea. Or you can also show surprise, as we saw also in the previous exercise, where she was surprised because she thought that he was going to love the jacket, but he didn't, right? So, don't you like it? No, he doesn't really like it. Or isn't it on sale? That's a surprise because she thought it was on sale, but no, she was grabbing it from the wrong area, from the wrong rack. So, isn't it on sale? No, it's not on sale, right? Doesn't she like it? So if you see the questions, in this case, the negative questions are just as regular questions. The difference is that uh, right now we have a not in there, right? So if I remove the word not, I have normal questions. Is this jacket great? Yes, it's great, or no, it's not great, right? Do you think it is great? Does that look good on him? Are they a little expensive? Do you think it's too bright? Um, is it on sale? Do you like it? Does she like it? So if you pay attention, these are common questions, simple questions, but the negative makes it totally different. Why? Because we do not use negative questions to ask for information. We do not use negative questions to ask for information. These questions are not for anybody to answer, right? So I'm not asking you a question necessarily, right? When I say, isn't this jacket great? I'm not trying to obtain information. I'm just providing an opinion, and I hope that you agree with me or that you are at least are on the same page than I do. It doesn't happen 100% of the time. So you express an idea or an opinion, and people will have a different opinion. So I'm going to give you some reasons behind it. So this is basically just the introduction, but we're going to study the form and the alternative uses, right? Express an opinion, suggest an idea, and express surprise. Okay, and then we have some exercises that we're going to find. But hopefully, everything is going to be clear. Now, the form. When I say the form, I'm talking about the structure. Okay, the grammatical structure or the grammar structure. Negative questions can be used in a variety of forms. This lesson presents negative questions with the present of be or the simple present. So today we're just presenting examples in simple present, right? Either with the verb be or with the other verbs. So the present of be or the simple present. But this doesn't mean that this is limited to only this tense, right? We can find um, we can find these negative questions in other tenses, probably a lot less frequently. And I think these are great examples because the most frequently used tense is simple present. So In real life, most of the cases that you're going to find are going to be very similar to the ones that we presented today. But I'm just trying to prepare you for whatever is out there, and for you to know that there are more cases. If we want to go deeper in this topic, you are able to do it. Okay, so the present of be isn't that great. So if you see, verb be is right here. It's very obvious. And on the present of simple present, the verbs that are not verb be, any other verbs, like for example, the word like, we always use, right, an auxiliary verb, right? Think, don't you think? Doesn't she like it? So we always use an auxiliary verb. So it's a negative, but we're not breaking any rules. Still, to make negatives in simple present, you have to use don't or doesn't. And if you have the verb be, you have to use isn't or aren't, right? Or am I not, right? Well, am and the word not. There is no contraction for am not. Just remember that part. So that's pretty much the structure. Nothing crazy. As I mentioned before, these are just like regular questions, as simple as that. Now, the reason behind the use of it, okay? So people generally use a negative question when they want another person to think uh, the other agree with them, right? Even though they may, that person, sorry, I don't know what that means. Even though that person will have a different opinion or may have a different opinion. So this happens all the time. I can express an opinion, but people may agree or disagree with me. So you have different ways of presenting an idea, and today we are showing you one way, which is using negative questions, right? So these are the three common uses of negative questions. First, to express an opinion. So I'm going to go really quickly over this. To express an opinion, you can say this, isn't this jacket great? So again, these questions are not to obtain information, right? Remember that when we had yes, no questions, and when we had information questions, we wanted to obtain some data, right? Something from the other person. In the yes, no question, for example, uh, do you like ice cream? So I'm trying to obtain information from you, and I want to know if you like ice cream. So I can, of course, get that knowledge from your personality or from your tastes. An information question is different. For example, um, what flavors do you like? So again, I'm trying to obtain information. With the negative questions, you don't have the same purpose, right? You're not trying to obtain information. With negative questions, you are either expressing an opinion, as we said it here, you're either suggesting an idea in a very subtle way, right? So you're presenting it not too direct, you're just being subtle. And you can also express some sort of surprise about some news that you got, right? So isn't the jacket great? You can express your opinion this way. Another way is saying it would look good on you, don't you think? Or it'll look good on you. This means it would, right? It would look good on you, don't you think? What we really mean is that you may or may not agree it will look good, but I want you to think it would. So I think that you would agree with me. That's why I'm presenting this idea, right? Don't you think? So basically, you're kind of looking for the approval of the other person on this idea. And the final use is to express surprise. Don't you like it? So notice that it's very similar uh, to the way that we use negative questions in Spanish. ¿Eh? ¿No te gusta? ¿No te gusta? No es lo mismo decir, ¿te gusta esta chaqueta? Sí, me gusta, no me gusta. So, there's information involved there. But in this case, we are just showing surprise because I expected that you would like it, but I'm surprised that you don't, right? It sounds like you don't like it, and I'm surprised. So these are simple ways in which you can use the negative questions, and I think that's uh, not going to be a problem. It's a very easy topic, but again, these questions are not for obtaining information. You can express an opinion, suggest an idea, or show surprise, but you are not using negative questions to obtain information. Okay, so this doesn't mean that you can use affirmative questions or negative questions and they work the same. No, that's not the idea. And it's completely different. The way that we use it in Spanish, sometimes it varies as well. So you have to be careful. This time we are not recommending to translate directly from Spanish because this is a topic in which the meaning can change a lot if you ask a negative question or a regular question. Any comments before we move on to the next page? Comments or questions before we go to the exercises? Nope. Good. If there are any comments or questions and I maybe did not hear you or see you, just remember to send them in the chat and I'll be more than happy to go back and explain a few things, okay? So first, you're going to see, look at these jackets. I think they are nice. If we have to rewrite this sentence or rephrase this sentence, how would you do it? How would we do it? Okay. I think they are nice, but we are using negative questions. One idea that comes to my mind for the first one is, I think they are nice. Aren't they great? Aren't they nice? Again, I'm not asking the person if they are nice. I'm presenting an idea, right? Aren't they nice? Well, I'm not sure about the color. They are kind of plain. Okay? Aren't they plain? Or don't you think they are plain? So I can play with the verbs and sometimes I can use the simple present. Sometimes I can use the verb be. It just depends on how I want to express it. Okay. So I'm just giving you some examples because the next exercises are going to be like these, some sort of reverse exercises. I'm giving you the phrases and you have to build the negative questions from the expressions. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. These are some of the sentences. I just took them out and I want you to rewrite the sentences as negative questions. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 sentences, and you can rewrite them as negative questions in different ways. As I showed you, sometimes you can use the negative verb be questions, and sometimes you can use negative, just simple present questions using don't or doesn't. You can experiment a little with those. For example, I think they're nice. We have 2 ways of creating this sentence. Aren't they nice? Don't you think they're nice? That's what I want you to do. Okay. Every sentence will have maybe a variety of options to be expressed. I want you to use them all. If you find one only one only way of doing things, well, that's the one, right? But if you find 2 or 3 ways of writing the sentence in a negative form, I want you to present them. At least we will find 2 on each of the sentences, okay? And you have an example here. So that's how I'm saying it is possible. It's possible for you to find 2 options. But since we're going to have some sort of a limited time, I will maybe give you the opportunity to do whatever you can within the time given. So we're going to start with number two. Okay. So number one is here. So this number one is the example. It's already taken care of. So we're not going to do that one. But number two, they're kind of plain. Okay. Now, of course, for some of this words, you might need to use the dictionary. Okay, at least for you to understand what that means. Okay, so for example, look around. This is a verb uh, that has a very specific meaning, right? The word plain has a very specific meaning as well, right? Plain can be translated more like um, simple, right? Not too not too I will say creative, right? So there are pieces of clothing that are plain, right? So maybe you're not looking for that. You're looking for something either more colorful or something more elaborated or with patterns or with stripes or with colors. So this is one idea. So the word plain uh, is that. But if you encounter some other words that you think are going to make it difficult to understand what you're writing, search for them in the dictionary first, so you don't mess up on the exercise part. So let's go with number two. Each of these sentences uh, or exercises is going to give us 1 minute and 15 seconds on the timer. Okay, so we're going to work one by one, but the max time is 1 minute and 15 seconds. Hopefully, you're able to check your notes and write within that time frame. And hopefully, you can give me both ways of writing the sentence, one with the verb be and one with the simple present, both in negative questions. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll see you in 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we have some options. Don't you think they're kind of plain? Aren't they plain? Don't they plain? Aquí este nos faltó, ¿verdad? Ese le vamos a agregar el don't you think, porque es sutilmente que estamos metiendo la idea, ¿verdad? ¿No crees que no le estamos imponiendo algo, ¿verdad? Sino eso es como un poco más sutil. Don't you think that's one way? Another one, aren't they plain? Or don't you think that they are plain? Very good. Aren't they a bit plain? Okay, good. This is one way of softening things, right? You're not too direct. You're just trying to don't sound yeah, you're trying to avoid sounding like too rude or too direct. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Hopefully the next one can come with all of the possible options. I'm surprised you don't like them. That's the main idea. And you have maybe two or more ways of saying this the same thing. Okay. So, don't you like them? Very good. El orden no se quebranta, ¿verdad? Entonces, en este caso, no es you don't like them, es don't you like them, because that's the correct order of a question. The auxiliary verb comes first when we have, I'm not surprised you don't like them. No estoy sorprendida que no te gustan. No, de hecho, sí, estoy sorprendida que no te gustan. Y eso es una forma de introducir eso es así como no te gustan, don't you like them? Don't you like them? Esta frase expresa como I thought you were going to like them. I'm surprised that you don't. So, sí, don't think they surprise you. Ujú. Creo que aquí estamos equivocados en el verbo que estamos escogiendo, ¿verdad? Aquí el verbo no es sorprender, el verbo es que le guste a él o a ella, ¿verdad? Y el sorprendido soy yo. Entonces, esta expresión ya representa sorpresa, ¿ok? So this already represents surprise. Don't you like them? Es como preguntarle a alguien, ¿no te gusta? O sea, yo soy el extrañado, yo soy el sorprendido. Solo no lo tengo que escribir porque se sobreentiende, right? It's obvious that I'm the one who is surprised because I'm offering you this because I thought that you were going to like it. And now I'm surprised because you don't like it. So, yeah, you like them, don't you? Okay, that's a good one. I think this works as well. You do like them, don't you? Sí te gustan, ¿verdad? Estas son otras preguntas que no hemos visto. Estas se llaman tag questions. Okay? But they work kind of similar, or yeah, I will say in some sort they are similar to the negative questions. So we'll get there, but it's a good resource. So I have another one. This one looks good. So this is my idea. This is my opinion. I think this one looks good, and I want to present that to you. But I'm in a question form. Okay. Necesito una pregunta en la que yo exprese mi opinión de que a mí me gusta, que se ve bien, pero tiene que ser una pregunta. Okay? You may start with don't, okay? Or with isn't it. Ya me llegaron todos los mensajes, gracias. Entonces, solo estoy corrigiendo aquí algunos espacios. Dice, el this no va. Ahora lo que tenemos que usar es el isn't, porque en las preguntas eso es lo que tenemos, ¿verdad? Y perdón si alguien me había hablado, no sé por qué, pero tenía todo el volumen hasta abajo. Thank you. Um, este puede ser, por ejemplo, los ejemplos que ustedes habían mandado. Doesn't it look good? ¿Ah? ¿No crees que se vea bien? ¿O don't you think it looks good? Y si queremos usar el verb be, podemos usar otras frases como isn't it nice? ¿Verdad? A veces preguntamos en español cosas como eh, está bonito, ¿no? Y esas expresiones son iguales, ¿verdad? Yo le pregunto a alguien y le digo, "Ah, está bonito, ¿no?" Es porque yo creo que se ve bonito y espero que la otra persona lo crea también. No siempre pasa. The other person may have a different opinion and say, I don't really like it, or I don't know, or it looks weird, or it is too bright, or it is not my style. So we can have different opinions. So remember that we're pushing here questions, okay? Todas las que sean formas de preguntas, esa es la que estamos tratando como de empujar ahorita un poquito, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, acá, don't you think this looks good? Okay, this one is good. Doesn't this one look good? Okay, perfect. So I think these are good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Friseida dice, does this look good? Esa respuesta que mandaste, Friseida, es una pregunta normal, no es una negative question. Entonces ahí sería doesn't this look good? Y ella cumple el objetivo, ¿verdad? Porque no estamos preguntando a la persona, mira, y esto se mira bien, porque no estoy queriendo obtener información de la persona. Lo que quiero hacer es externar una opinión, pero solo que no la quiero hacer tan directa, ¿verdad? Y lo hago a través de una pregunta, esperando que la otra persona esté de acuerdo con lo que opino, ¿verdad? Doesn't this look good? So the other person hopefully he's going to say, yeah, I love it. Or he's going to say, you know what? I don't really like it, or it's not my style, or let's keep searching. Let's see if we can do more. I have three more. So it looks kind of small. Se ve un poco pequeño. Recuerden que preguntas son las que tenemos que hacer. Revisen sus ejemplos. Revisen sus ejemplos si necesitan ideas de cómo iniciar alguna negative question. Ok, veamos su creatividad entonces. Let's see your creativity on this one. Okay. Isn't it kind of small? Okay. Recuerden que cuando usamos frases como kind of, también es una frase que es un poquito evasiva, ¿verdad? En el sentido de que no queremos ser tan como severos en nuestra opinión, ¿verdad? It's not like this is like this is exactly how it has to be. It's just one way of softening things, right? Se mira un poquito pequeño. Tal vez alguien me está ofreciendo un pantalón, ¿verdad? Y yo digo, isn't it kind of small? So I'm processing my opinion and I'm expressing my opinion and I'm saying I think it looks small to me, right? I'm just saying it in a way that I don't hurt anybody's feelings. So doesn't it looks kind of small? Okay, doesn't it look if I'm using doesn't, the word look will have no S. So doesn't it look kind of small? Let's see here. Another one. Don't you think this looks small? I agree with that. That's good. Isn't this too small? Doesn't this look kind of small? Right, perfect. Good job. Doesn't it seem a small thing, like a small thing? Hmm, see? Doesn't it seem a bit small, diría yo, ¿verdad? Hasta ahí estaría bien. Uh, it doesn't look a bit small, does it? Okay. Again, solo que creo que al revés. Aquí estoy dando a entender como que no está tan pequeño, ¿verdad? Y lo que quiero decir es que sí, sí se mira pequeño. So maybe the question has to be rewritten in a way that it expresses the same idea, not the opposite. Uh, maybe it looks a bit small, doesn't it? So let's tag a question that it's the same but just backwards. Let's do number 6, I think this is. And after this, I only have one more, and then we're gonna go to our uh, pronunciation practice. It's not the same price. Hey, this is a bit challenging. Remember that we are aiming to questions, okay? Estamos tratando de buscar preguntas. Questions that express the same idea. Okay, time's up. Let's see if we okay. Isn't the same price? Isn't this the same price? We're talking about an item, right? So maybe we want to refresh that. Isn't the same price? Isn't his isn't this maybe the same price? Don't you think the price is different, maybe? Don't you think uh it's incomplete here. Okay? It is the same price, isn't it? Or it's not the same price, is it? I think it's backwards. Let's do one last one, and we're gonna finish with this one. Maybe we should look around a bit more. Look around es seguir viendo, right? O seguir buscando o seguir vitrineando. Maybe we should look around a bit more. So, ¿no crees que deberíamos seguir viendo? Esa es una forma de hacerlo en español. I'm just giving you some clues on how to start a question that expresses the same opinion, a negative question. Don't you think? Es una forma, ¿verdad? Pueden usar shouldn't porque aquí es el auxiliar también. Ok, muy bien. Acá. Do you think we should look around a bit more? Okay, perfect. It's a question, it's a negative question. Les decía que shouldn't también podría funcionar. Shouldn't we look around a bit more? Perfect. Don't you think we should look around a bit more? Great, great sentence. Don't you think that we should see a bit more? Okay, so this is the same idea. Maybe we shouldn't look around a bit. Como es pregunta lo que queremos buscar, ¿verdad? En este caso creo que no está expresando lo opuesto. De hecho, lo que yo estoy diciéndole a la persona es que deberíamos seguir viendo. Y aquí significa ya no deberíamos de seguir viendo. So we have to be careful with the meaning of the sentence, right? Not just completing the sentence or um, maybe just grabbing words without understanding the meaning of the end meaning of the sentences. So great. I think that we are on the right track. I have a few things more to review. Things like, for example, vocabulary words, right? Reading product descriptions. Um, I think I'm gonna leave this for tomorrow, because I don't want to. I want to have enough time just to do a little exercise practice. And this website we have been using this website for previous courses. It's linguo.com, but of course it has different levels of readings, and we are using a bit yeah, a bit more advanced reading this time. So we have a reading that is called food, right? And we have these paragraphs. These paragraphs include certain vocabulary words that I think that will enrich your current vocabularies, and especially in the food category, there are certain things like when you visit a um, supermarket that has everything in English, this will be particularly um, useful. Let's see here. We nor I guess we normally don't find this in Guatemala, right? You will not find many supermarkets that are just in English. I have only found one that the things are actually in English. Um, it is because, of course, the area where it is located, it is like for Americans that live there. Probably in very touristic places, you might find some stores that have English and Spanish things or tags or signs in the supermarket or in the grocery store. But this will be particularly useful when you travel or when you are dealing with supermarkets that are only in English. So we're going to try to read this as I will say as fluent as possible. Remember that I have given you a few tips on how to make this work for you. First, understand that whenever you're reading, it's like you're speaking, it's like you're telling a story. It should there shouldn't be a difference. So the way that you speak and the way that you read should be very similar, right? Because you're expressing ideas. So instead of reading while eating at a restaurant in an enjoyable, inconvenient, occasional treat. So for example, it's if I read like that, if somebody is just listening and not reading with me, they won't have any idea of what I said. We have to attempt to provide complete ideas when we're reading. And this is only achievable when you practice, of course. And when you practice, this is, of course, also transferred to your speech because when you speak, you have uh, this knowledge of always trying to communicate complete ideas. So it's like enriching or improving both areas of your life. Reading out loud is going to improve, of course, your reading is going to improve your pronunciation, but the way that you think and the way that you communicate, it's also affected in a positive way when you doing this. So this is why I think it's a crucial part of our practice. And this is why I think as well that I don't see many of you improving in practicing reading out loud and speaking publicly because I don't think that you are reading enough. And that's going to be, uh, I think, something that I'm going to push a little bit more during the class. Maybe giving you more assignments for reading, giving you more assignments for reading, maybe a one chapter of a book, things like that, that are going to be outside of our class time, but you will have to do within your free time or any other moment. Just to give you enough reasons to keep practicing and to keep growing, because otherwise we're going to be stuck. So you have the reading in front of you. There are going to be certain words, like for example, this one. Uh, this is a word in English that is pronounced produce, not produce, right? There are different ways there of pronouncing this word because this word can be either a verb, like when you're producing something, right? You're creating something, and that is a verb. But here we're not talking about a verb. This is a noun, and that noun is pronounced produce, the produce. And here the text is going to explain what the word produce is. So um, this is going to be both great for practice, but also informative. Okay. So let's make a list and everybody's going to read a list a bit. Hopefully we can read a paragraph each. By the end of the class, everybody's going to be able to read one paragraph. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, and there are 6 of you that are able to participate. So we are going to probably read a paragraph twice. Let me call the list. So the first person reading is going to be Carolyn. The second one is going to be Daniel. So second paragraph. Third paragraph is going to be Friseida. Then we're going to have Karen. Then we're going to have Liz. I think Liz is going to be reading the last paragraph. And Luisa, we're going to read the first paragraph again if we run out of paragraphs to read. So Carolyn, if you may, please help me reading this one. And if I need you to repeat any specific part, I'll let you know at the end of the reading, okay?
While eating at a restaurant is an enjoyable and convenient occasional treat, most individuals and families prepare their meals at home to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily. These persons must have their required foods and ingredients on hand and ready to go. Foods and ingredients are typically purchased from a grocery store or an establishment that distributes food, drinks, household products, and other items that are used by the typical customer.
Okay, great job. Let's go ahead and read uh Daniel, the second paragraph.
Produce, or a term used to describe fresh fruit and vegetables, is commonly purchased by grocery store shoppers. In terms of fruit, most grocery stores offer bananas, apples, oranges, blackberries, raspberries, grapes, pineapples, cantaloupes, watermelons, and more. Other grocery stores with larger produce selection might offer listed fruits in addition to less common fruits, including mangoes, honeydews, starfruit, coconuts, and more.
Okay, perfect. I just want to stop right there just to go over some of the ideas in here. So you did it great, Daniel. Thank you very much. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it. I just want to stop and talk about certain words, okay, before we continue, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, right? So for an exercise like this, you should have a dictionary next to you, okay? So that's the first thing. So I hope that you on your other tab in the website, you have your dictionary with you because you're going to be coming and going just by looking and adding more words to your vocabulary. Or let's say you're on the computer and you have your dictionary in your phone and you're ready to search for some of the items, okay? So for example, we saw that the word purchase or purchased has been appearing several times, okay? And this is just to buy, okay? Buy things. So nothing too fancy, but the word is very common in the real yeah, in real life, okay? So let's see here. Another one. Okay, these are some type of fruits. Some of these fruits are very common for us because are pretty much the same fruits that we see every day. But there are certain, I will say, changes in the variety because Latin America, or at least us here in Guatemala, we know certain fruits And there are other fruits that are not from our region and we normally don't consume them, right? Or if we see them here, they will have to be imported. So I guess that one of those words is the word cantaloupe. Okay. Cantaloupe is what we normally know as melon. Okay. The type of melon that we know is in English is not called melon. It's called cantaloupe. Okay. And the cantaloupe is el rosadito, digamos, ¿verdad? Esa es una de las cosas que es diferente. So that's the type of melon that we know, right? So we go to the market um, and we find cantaloupes. Normally, the melon that the North American people know is the one that comes a little green. It's still sweet, but it's a little green. Okay, very similar to a honeydew. Okay, so a honeydew is some sort of a melon as well. Is a melon. It's just that it it is very different. It's like the type of melon that you will see in a supermarket in the imported fruit section, because that is something that we normally do not grow here in the country. Right? Um, let's see here. Honeydew is melon. That's right. So the honeydew melon is just a variety of melon. In Guatemala, we normally see cantaloupes because that's the traditional melon that we're used to see. And honeydews is just the melon, is just a variety that is a bit different. And the inside color might be a little different. So you might have seen it on the supermarket, but it's not something that we produce naturally here in our traditional markets. I just wanted to make sure of that. The other one is the word start fruit. I don't know if you have seen about that. We have a very peculiar name for that fruit in Guatemala. Does anybody know how that is called in our country? The word is star fruit?
Carambola.
Carambola. Uh, the 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 star fruit se llama star fruit porque sí tiene forma de estrella, ¿verdad? O sea, sí se parece, pero es porque tiene como, vamos a ver, le voy a compartir una imagen por aquí. So just giving you some visual. Okay. That's the star fruit. Esta es una carambola que nosotros conocemos normalmente, pero cuando se corta, ¿verdad? En bajos o digamos o en hojas, we can see that form. So in English, it's named star fruit. Makes a lot more sense, right? Than calling it carambola. I don't know why somebody called it carambola, but that's just to give you some visuals. So there are some traditional fruits that are normally found in the supermarket, and there are other less common fruits like seasonal fruits, including mangoes, honeydews, starfruit, coconuts, and more. So sorry for stopping you there. Let's go and continue with the list. So after Daniel, I had Friseida. Friseida, can you help me reading this paragraph, number 3?
Depending on the grocery stores, customers can purchase fruits in a few different ways. Some stores will charge a set amount per pound of fruit, and will when customers fruits purchases.
Yes, purchases, that you're right. And build them, aquí vas, and build them accordingly. Friseida, ¿me escuchas? Creo que tenemos ahí un problema. Ok, listo. No hay problema.
Ahora sí me puede escuchar.
Sí, sí, te escuchamos. We hear you well.
So, and bill them accordingly. Other stores will charge custom.
Creo que te dejé de oír otra vez. Will charge customers. No problem. I'll try to give you some time at the end if we have a bit. Okay. So es que oigo como el background noise, como el sonido del fondo se oye, pero no logro distinguir tu voz en medio de eso. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry. Let me ask Karen in the meantime. Okay. So Karen, can you read the paragraph again, just to do not miss this information?
Depending on the grocery store, customers can purchase the customers can purchase,
Purchase.
purchase food in a few different ways. Some stores will charge a set amount per pound of food and will weigh customers food for purchase and bill them accordingly. Other stores will charge customer for each piece of food they buy, or for a bundle of fruit, a bag of bananas, a bag of apples. Other stores deal with simple charges by the container.
Okay. Perfect. So we have an idea on how people pay for their fruits in other countries. Okay. So let's go with vegetables. And this is Liz. Liz, can you help me with this one?
Okay. Vegetables include lettuce, corn, tomatoes, onion, celery, cucumbers, mushrooms, and more are all sold at many grocery stores and are purchased similarly to the way that fruits are. Grocery stores typically stock more vegetables than fruits at any given time, as vegetables remain fresh longer than fruits, though, generally speaking.
Okay, very good. And we have one last paragraph. I'm gonna ask Luisa to help me with that one. Was that one?
It takes quite a while to list everything else that today's massive grocery stores sell, but most customers take the opportunity to shop for staples, or
Staples?
food
Yes.
staples, or foods that play a prominent role in the average diet. At the establishments, staples include pasta, rice, flour, sugar, milk, meat, and eggs, and bread. All the listed staples are available in prepackaged containers but can be purchased fresh in some grocery stores, wherein employees will measure and weigh fresh products and then provide them to customers.
Okay. Thank you very much. So just reviewing a few of the words that we have been seeing, and just to add them to your vocabulary, there are a few things that we need to double check. So the first one is the word I think the word purchases, right? So this can be um, a verb or a noun. Purchase is the right way to pronounce purchase, purchase. But if we're talking about the noun, Purchase es compra, pero también puede ser el verbo comprar, okay? Like to purchase. Y también puede ser plural, ¿verdad? Compras, purchases. Okay, so that's one way. Now, we saw this verb. This is another verb. Is the word weigh. Weigh comes from the word weight. Weight, which is peso. Now, weigh is the verb. It's pesar. And people will weigh customers' fruit purchases and bill them accordingly. Other stores will charge customers for each piece of fruit they buy, or for bundles of fruits, a bag of bananas, a bag of apples, etc. Other stores yet will simply charge by the container. So weigh, if you saw that appearing in several paragraphs, it means to weigh, right? To put into a scale and find out what is the weight. Okay, we saw a list of vegetables as well. Some of these are pretty well known. Celery, onions, cucumbers, mushrooms, tomatoes, etc. Okay, so we saw another, let's see, another word. I think that it was staples. Let's see if I remember any other. No, I think staples. No, staples is just basically the basic artículos de primera necesidad. That's the basic articles, right? The basic items that you need at home, right? So here the article is talking about food in general and the food that you can find in the supermarket or the grocery store, but it is saying, well, there's a lot more to describe when we're talking about grocery stores, but most customers take the opportunity to shop for staples or foods that play a prominent role in the average diet. That means just the basic items that you need. For example, staples include pasta, rice, flour, sugar, milk, meat, eggs, and bread. All the listed staples are available in prepackaged containers. So package is empacar, right? Or paquete. So it depends on if it's a verb or if it's a noun or if it's an adjective. In this case, pre-packaged, that means that it was packaged with anticipation, but can be purchased fresh in some grocery stores, wherein employees will measure and weigh, again, this word again, fresh products and then provide them to customers. Okay, so if you some of the paragraphs were easier than others. I totally understand that part. But I guess that now you're realizing that there are a few more things that we need to practice, right? To make it sound a lot more fluent and to understand what we're reading. Because I understand that some of you were reading, but you were not really understanding some of the words. So having a dictionary at hand every time that we have these exercises is vital, okay? Because that's the way that you're going to be increasing your vocabulary faster. You're searching for the word and you're using that word. That is going to make it recorded in your brain. So for today, I think that's going to be enough, but I want you to have this reading because I'm going to ask you to go back to this reading, okay? I think it has valuable information. Whenever you go to the market, you will be able to put this into practice just by going to Walmart next week. You're going to be able to find and name some of these things in English, so you can start practicing. So I wish you the very best. That's going to be everything for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to have our first midterm where we are going to evaluate and maybe have some conversations around the topics that we have discussed within the last 2 weeks. And just to provide you some feedback as well on how you are doing. So have a great evening and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you,
Bye.
teacher. See you tomorrow.
You're very welcome. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.